of Peyton Manning, it has been a very tough road for Tennessee. And I think they fell in love with the pass with Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning was more offensive coordinator than he was the quarterback. I think I remember I sat at the Music City Bowl one year in a box with a bunch of SEC officials, and they looked at me. It was right after Peyton Manning had graduated, and they said, "What are you going to do at Tennessee without your offensive coordinator?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. We hadn't lost our offensive coordinator. Of course, we did later. We lost Cutcliffe." They said, "Yeah, you lost Peyton Manning. That's really Tennessee's offensive coordinator. Everybody knows that." And it's hard to replace a quarterback that's a coach on the field, and that's what Peyton Manning really was, is someone who could get you in the right alignment, make the right reads, always made the right progression. For what he wanted in physical talent, which wasn't that much, he more than made up for with the intellectual side of the game.
So you've got a rough day for you there. You're pulling for USC, but you believe Ohio State's going to win it.
Yes, but I'm just happy to be there. I mean, it's kind of like coaching at the Brett Cooper game. I really don't know a darn thing about football, but I'm just kind of glad to be here. Why Coach Campbell has me come is beyond me. I'm really the get-back coach. I walk up and down the sideline and tell everybody to get back, and, I just tell my old line, pick 5 guys and put them all on the ground. That's all I'm going to ask you to do.
Wow.
We'll worry about those other 6. We hopefully they'll miss, but just put 5 of them down.
I've never heard a coach refer himself as the get-back coach.
Yeah, I'm the get-back coach. I want to say this. The real mastermind of our offensive line, and if we don't play very well, blame him, is Coach Tim Bish right there. He's the rather handsome guy that's kind of sveltly built there. He's like 6'6", 350, and he's the smallest guy in his room because he shares a room with Fred Zilla, and who makes Bish look small. But that's the real architect. That's the brain behind the coaching staff is Tim Bish. I want everybody to know that.
Well, I got to question that brain if he put the get-back coach on the staff.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't listen to me. What do I know? I do know this, though. I've accepted a head coaching job in Sweden, and I'm excited. I'm excited about that, and I was gonna take Bish with me to Sweden, but he said something smart to me at the coaches meeting this morning, so I fired him before he even knew that he was hired. And I'd like to announce that Richie Martin is joining me in Sweden, and we are going to build a dynasty there, and so I'm looking forward to it. That's right. Well, Martin said the Swedish players are tougher, so I know he wants to go with me. Yeah. We don't have that good of a football team, but our cheerleading staff is outstanding. We have a great cheerleading squad there.
Welcome to the Comedy Hour here on the Kennie Long Show.
Everybody tip your waiter, okay? I am here all week. Everybody tip your waiter. I'm here all week.
All right, so let's open up the microphone here, and we got a young man who's got a question. Go ahead. Step up there. Get right up to it.
I'm Najee, by the way. If J.T. Barrett and Sam Darnold declare for the draft, what round do you think they'll be in?
Good question.
I think Donald will be a first-round pick. J.T. Barrett is an anomaly, so he may not get picked in the first 5 rounds. He may be a 6-rounder and may get even picked to play in another position besides quarterback. So, if you're looking at Barrett possibly as a project quarterback, possibly as a wide receiver at the next level. But Donald will be a first-round pick.
I think me and Richie are thinking the same thing. I'm thinking late 3rd round, maybe 5th round, because you never know. A team that might need a quarterback for the future may gamble on them. Honestly, a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers might, because, Big Ben's on his way out. We don't really have a backup. You know what I mean? So we may take a shot at the guy and see what he can do. The guy's very smart. I mean, he's been in college for 7 years, so he has to be pretty smart. So, I would trust him. He has to know. He has to know what he's doing. So I think 4th round or later.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think this season hurt J.T. Barrett's stock when it comes to the draft?
Yes.
I think J.T. Barrett will be playing professional soccer for the new Nashville franchise. Remember, you heard it here first.
I do think it hurt his stock because, there's only so much you can do at the college rank. And, if I was him after they won the national championship with Cardale Jones and all that, I would have took my shot then and struck while the iron was hot. him continuously come. Didn't he get hurt the next year?
He did get hurt the next year.
So it's like now no team's going to, if you would have left then like Cardale Jones did, Cardale Jones is collecting an NFL check right now. Granted, he may be practice squad, but he's still, collecting an NFL check. So I think it did hurt his stock.
And honestly, I think he's going to be even further down in the draft. I think he's looking at maybe in a 10 or even a 12th round pick if he even gets drafted. I think his injury that first year and then this consecutive year where he just really did not perform like he did in the past when that national title was won, that really hurt him. And I think teams are looking fearful of taking a gamble on him.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens, Kenny. A lot of times, the heritage of the program, or where the guys came before you, sets that up. And I think the fact that the quarterback that came before him, he's playing wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Braxton Miller's there.
Miller.
And so when you have a lineage of players that kind of go through a system and they become, a certain way, that becomes the MO of the program. And it's like the USC quarterback has that same kind of path with it. So everybody wants to know, is it the player or is it the program? So I think that's why, you look at a Braxton Miller, a JT Barrett, very similar, that he'll probably go that same route, that they're looking at him in that same route.
All right. So next question. Go ahead and step up there. Tell us who you are first, where you're from, and your question.
Melvin Irvin from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yes, sir. I've got the pleasure to meet everybody up here pretty much. Kind of piggybacking off of what you asked earlier, I wanted to ask pro guy and Mr. Britt Cooper and the coaches.
Yeah, forget us amateurs. Go straight to the pro.
No, I'm 45, so we remember you a little. About 8 or 10 years in Oakland. During that time with the Christian Okoye's and all in the AFC West. So I'm a fan of football. But with that, you in love with Urban Meyer. Taking away the coaches and what you like for as the team, do you think the matchup of the concept on what Ohio State brings versus a USC that's not of the Pete Carroll era or with a power out or a balanced set, do you think that's really going to weigh in tonight on Ohio State winning the game, which seemed like that's what people are picking? That's what I want to ask you.
I think that Urban Meyer's proven that in his system, he can win. And but it's like I said earlier. I feel that the talent level that Ohio State has now is not as good as it's been in the past. And I feel that, with the athleticism of USC, that's going to keep them in the game. Now, I know Urban Meyer's a great coach. He's won national championships and proven it. But Kim Hilton, like I said, he has a lot of young athletes that they're going to be hungry to play. They start, like everybody said, they started off slow, but as the season went on, they got better. And I think that at this point in time, they're at their peak. And I think they want to come out and, set an example. So I think they're going to come out and play hard.
I really think there's only 3 conferences in football: the AFC, the NFC, and the SEC. Those are really and the new conference that Martin and I are starting in Sweden. But I really think that Urban Meyer was hired at Ohio State to bring an SEC brand of football to the Big Ten. What always used to get the Big Ten in the old days was they couldn't. They couldn't adjust to a game that had become a real speed game. You started seeing D coordinators in the SEC take strong safeties and make them linebackers, and you had a lot more responsibilities in the intermediary passing game than old-time football, where linebackers were downhill and basically A-gap to A-gap annihilators, which is incidentally what our linebackers are going to have to be, because I don't know that they can run. But anyway, I really think that that Urban Meyer's been a game changer for the conference, and I think you've been seeing more and more team speed in the Big Ten, and I really think that if you want to win national championships, you're going to have to be able to run sideline to sideline, and you used to not see that so much in the Big Ten.
Thank you.
All right, next question. Oh, no, he's going down the line. All right, Richie.
Oh, Rich.
I believe USC won the Pac-12. Is that correct? I believe they did.
Did they win the Pac-12?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
So, with that being said, I think the game's going to be closer than what I'm thinking. I love Urban Meyer, but I think the game's going to be closer. And I think USC is hungry. Just like Aaron was saying, they're hungry. And winning the Pac-12 and setting a statement is going to help their recruiting, and it's going to put pressure on the kids to win. And I think it's going to be a great battle.
Well, both these teams have been, highly touted throughout the nation, and so I don't think recruiting is a big issue. I think it's Ohio State feeling like they just missed the playoffs. You don't know which Ohio State you're going to be, either the dejected Ohio State or the Ohio State that's out there for vengeance because they got kind of shut out of the playoffs. They thought that they should have made the playoff over Alabama. So you're looking at a situation where maybe they got vengeance. So my thing that I know is, Urban Meyer is always going to be prepared. Which Ohio State team will you get? I do think there's going to be a good enough team, disciplined team, to win the game, but it could go the other way. Ohio State could be a dejected team from not making the playoffs. So you don't know which one you're getting, but I feel like it'll be the other.
Ohio State lost to Iowa. How could they think they should have been in the top 4?
They won the Big Ten.
I think Ohio State should have hired Brett Cooper. And I'd like to go first on record. He would bring the bling bling.
That's right, man.
He would bring the bling bling. That'd be the new Ohio State University slogan: "Bring the bling bling." So that's what I think.
They need the bling bling this year, right? They should have been. They should have had me there.
All right, Steven.
I'm agreeing with what Fletcher said a little bit. I think the brand of football that Urban Meyer brings to the table is just different. If you can't match up and knuckle up and go, tackle to tackle and get 4 yards and move the sticks and control the clock, you're not gonna you're gonna have a tougher time. And then if USC wants to get cute and spread the ball out, it's not like Ohio State's slow. So right. If you can't muscle up with a team and bring that type of brand of football, you're going to lose a football game because it is football. So I just think that Urban Meyer's, the mentality that he puts in the scheme and things of that nature, it's too much for a team that doesn't have that same type of mentality. If this was like Alabama versus Ohio State, then we could sit, we would be rolling with Bama right now because if Bama plays that brand of football, so does Ohio State, and Alabama's probably better at playing that brand of football. So I just think Urban Meyer is going to bring a better brand of football today, and that's what's going to be the difference in the game.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for the question. Great question. Right. Yes, sir. You're up.
Hey, I'm Dan Keener. I'm from West Virginia. I actually know some.
West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia.
Home of Dave Riley.
Very few. Right?
And the McCoys from the Hatfield McCoys.
But,
I just want to throw that out.
Where we're at, we're about 5 minutes from Pennsylvania, and we're about 5 minutes from Ohio both. And with everything that's being said, first thing I wanted to say to all you guys is thank you for bringing the kids together and putting this all together for them, because without you guys, none of this stuff happens. They're here. They're learning, great experience. Some of these guys, including my son, may never get to experience something like this again. So thank you first and foremost for everything.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the real question, there's two questions I have. The first is USC and Ohio State, long history programs. We've seen them fall drastically in recruiting the last few years. I mean, I think they're down in the 20s, late teens, 20s. But the other thing that I'll say, and I'm not a great Ohio State fan, I'm a Mountaineer fan. You got to stick with it. But win, lose, right? You got to stick with it. But my stepdad's an Ohio State fan, Ohio State graduate as well. And the defense Ohio State plays, I don't think USC can compete with that. What's you guys' thoughts on that? Ohio State's always got the beef in the D.
Well, I told Coach Martin, I've heard that for years back in the old Big Ten, Pac-10 Rose Bowl days. Yeah. That's what they said every year. Oh, you can't compete with these big bullies from the Big Ten. The Pac-10 used to take some pretty pedestrian teams and go just beat the crap out of those big bullies. So, I mean, I've seen that, and I feel, because I'm from Kentucky, so we're like brothers. I mean, unless you're a McCoy and I'm a Hatfield, in which case we're not like brothers.
But Michigan used to go beat the hell out of them out there in the Trojan arena there, right?
Well, Michigan won some games out there, but I can remember the Pac-10 winning way more games. I mean, I can remember them having pretty long win streaks, kind of like Tennessee losing streak. I can remember them having pretty long win streaks. And I think that football is a game that I don't know that, and I think it leads to the injuries we see, but I don't know that we've ever seen men the size now that run like they run. And I'm very proud of the fact, I don't know if y'all remember Antone Davis, but he played in the NFL for many years. Big Tone ran over me and